What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Vocab Malone, Street Apologist Live. You're listening to Tuesday, October 29, 2019 edition. The time is 1:25 here on the West Coast. How y'all doing out there? Snuck in a Street Apologist Live. This is the show where we serve the underserved and look into the overlooked. I'm your host, Vocab Malone, and it's not actually this cold here in Phoenix, Arizona, but you know, a lot of Italians that got family like in, the Bronx and Manhattan, Queens, especially Staten Island. I don't, but my Italian side of the family hails from Buffalo. And so I'm not a big football fan, as you guys already probably know. I don't really sweat none of that. However, I've been feeling sentimental lately about my grandparents, and so in honor, we rock the Buffalo Bills jersey because that's where a lot of the Italian side of my family is from. And so that's what's going on with that. Besides, I thought it looked pretty nice. Besides, need a jacket for this Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Why? I'm going to be in Philadelphia. Yeah, that's right, rocking a Buffalo Bills jacket. And the deal is with that, man, this jacket's so nice and warm and comfy. It makes me want to put my hands in my pockets, but that's probably not the best idea when I'm like doing a live stream. But right now my hands are in my pockets because that's how warm it is. Yes, this is an apologetic show, but I'm just chopping it up with y'all. Hey, what's up, K-Dub? How you doing, man? Thank you for the compliments. And we are doing our meetings now for Doctrine for the Block, K-Dub, and I am wondering if you would be able to go. Let me know. If you're planning on coming through with the crew, it would always be good to see you. Okay, so we're going to talk about three different topics here on this edition of Street Apologist Live. We're going to talk about a little bit about Kanye West and the Jesus is King album. And then we're also going to talk a little bit about this Washington Post headline they called Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi an austere scholar. I don't know if you guys saw that, but this is the leader of ISIS or ISIL, or just simply the Islamic State. Now, they've changed it, but that's become kind of a controversy, and that relates to the channel. And we're also going to talk about something that probably passed under the radar of most everybody. But a friend sent me this, and we're going to get right into it, because if you see the cover image to the show, you'll see it says LQ Cops. I didn't know what else to call it. What's LQ Cops? Well, believe it or not, as we get today's show started on the first topic, it relates to the Hebrew Israelites. LQ is abbreviation for Lashawan Qadash. Lashawan Qadash is the fabricated version of Hebrew, the One West dialect, Harlemized Hebrew, that has no historical pedigree whatsoever, yet they decide to speak it because apparently some guy had a vision and says he did some study. Shout out to you, John McDermott. Thank you for the super chat. I see you, my friend. So, people who study the cult of the Hebrew Israelites, whenever we hear Lashawan Qadash, we recognize it usually because it doesn't sound like normal Hebrew because it's not. It has certain sounds and vowels. And so there's a situation where there's a traffic stop kind of gone wrong. And guess what happens? What happens is Lashawan Qadash comes into play. Let me go over here. I'm going to show you my screen. Trying to show you my screen. There we go. All right. So look here on your screen, ladies and gentlemen. This is an Instagram account, Conscious Awareness. Man, I hope one day to have that many followers on the gram, as they say. But I don't think that's going to be happening anytime soon. So you get the idea of, perhaps the kind of, account it is or whatever, the kind of stuff they cover. And here we go, we're looking through. We're not going to be looking at all this stuff, but just giving you some context here. Now, I don't know where this, came from originally, but I do know that this is the video I spoke of. So I'm going to play that video right now, and we're going to watch it together, and then I'm going to comment briefly on it. Hey guys, ready? All right, so let's get right into this. Click on this, and click on this, and I think you guys will find this fascinating. All right, let's watch this together. Here we go.
Wow. How you doing, sir?
How you doing, man?
You have your driver's license vehicle information on you?
What's going on?
I'll be happy to tell you once I see who I'm talking to, all right?
All right, so from that, you already know the essence of the debate here. You know, the cop is asking for the man's driver's license. The passenger wants to know why he stopped, which honestly seems like a fair enough request in my opinion. But hey, what do I know? I'm just an apologist, right? But the cop says, well, I'll tell you after I see your driver's license. And you can see there the subtitles. Oh, did I just... You can... Ugh! Sorry, I'm having trouble. This thing's playing around on me, so just ignore that. You can see there the subtitles, what they're discussing right now. I'm going to turn the volume back on here in a second. But they're going back and forth. And you know how these things go. They escalate. And so this escalates, as you can see in the beginning of the video. And I'm gonna turn the volume on back here in a second. Just give it time. And there's a female passenger in the car whose voice you can hear, and she seems to be saying, "Just show him your license, and then I'll tell you." She seems to be wanting to avoid the problem or the trouble that's gonna certainly arise. It seems like, and so she's saying, "Hey, you know." And now you can see there on the screen that he just calls for backup. So once a cop calls for backup, you know, just what do you do? You know what I'm saying? So here he is. He calls for backup. I'm going to let you guys hear that part.
Entrance to the parks. Please send me another car. I have an uncooperative accent.
So the female seems to be saying, hey, just show him, the license or whatever. He doesn't, and so I'm gonna show you what happens here. Now he says
I'm representing
this.
myself right now.
Okay.
Because to be honest with you, I have a right to remain silent, right? So I could just sit here and ignore you.
No, you can't, sir.
I don't ask you any questions.
Okay. Well, it's going to turn out very poorly for you.
It's fine.
Okay, so I'm not really here. I'm gonna want to get carried away and comment too much on this. So I'm not gonna comment too much on this. I'm really tempted to. I've kind of said what I wanted to say, but I just want to show this. This is dated October 5th or 8th, I believe.
But you're not telling me what's going on, and that ain't right.
I'm gonna tell you what the deal is. You're probably suspended, so you don't want to give me your license.
October 8th. It's dated October 8th. So he's saying, hey, you're probably suspended. That's why you're going to give me your license. I don't know if he knows that or not. But here's what it says under the account. It says, when you refuse to show police your ID, thoughts on this. And there's a bunch of hashtags. Population control, stay woke, NWO, population, New World Order, elite, explore page, pineal gland, wake up people, truth seeker, third eye, wake up sheeple, anonymous, conscious, police the police. By the way, I agree with that. The rest I'm not so sure about, or not sure about their relevance. Secret societies, open your eyes, mind control, conscious awareness, politics, self-aware, freedom thinker, Illuminati, truth seeker, conscious awareness, people power, depopulation, conspiracy, wake up. Now, they're just showing this to show, another confrontation with the cops, right, and how they are. Right now it's got almost it looks like 3 million views, which seems like a lot considering it's only been out since October 8th, but no one's caught this part except for a few people, trained urban apologists, and I want you to hear this part. It's about to come up, okay? See if you catch it, okay?
So, am I free to go?
No, you're not free to go. This is an investigatory stop, all right? All right, here's the deal.
For all I know, you could be trying to kill me right now.
You're absolutely ridiculous.
I know some of you think the cop is right here, and that sounds absolutely ridiculous. I got to be honest with you. I'm not saying I co-sign everything that happened here either way, but don't you understand? Can't you? I understand why the guy's saying what he's saying. For all I know, you could be trying to kill me right now. Some of you probably get real upset that I have this kind of ambiguity And, but I've seen a lot. And I feel like a lot of us should have seen enough by now to know, there's some serious issues when it comes to police brutality, to say the least. But let's listen to this.
All right. I don't care.
All right, step out of the car.
It's been 2 minutes. I'm not stepping out the car until you tell me what's going on.
So see, there's a second guy. Once the second guy's there, it's all over. You just kind of know how it is. Notice he didn't get to finish the sentence, but the guy in the car says, I don't care. He says, there's been too many. He's probably going to say there's been too many of us shot by you. It's probably he was saying something like that, which again, no lies detected. I don't know, man. Now watch this, though. Some of you, I hear you guys, some of you guys are saying, oh, that's the media pushing that narrative. And I agree the media is unhelpful, but a lot of the stuff comes from personal experience, man. A lot of this comes from personal experience, I got to be honest. But check this out. Let's listen to this.
I'm not the car until you tell me what's going on.
All right, open the door.
Hey, put this on camera. Put this on camera.
He says, put this on camera. He's probably talking to the lady in the passenger side. But what's that going to do? They've already got their dash cam going. They already know they're being recorded. They're not worried about it. And notice he's going to start putting on the gloves. So watch this. Once they put on the gloves, it's over. You know what I mean? Watch this.
You got to let me know what's going on, man. You're not doing it.
You're going to jail is what's going on.
For what? For what? You ain't... What charges? On what charges?
So, windows busted. Cops have their ways. They know how to bust windows. And he did it quick. He didn't give him warning. It's done. Windows busted. They're going to pull the guy out of the car. Now, no, he did not show him his license yet, Terrence. I still don't understand why the cop couldn't just tell him what was going on. I don't understand why the cop couldn't just say, here's the reason I stopped you. Doesn't that seem fair? Doesn't that seem fair? Now, again, I'm not getting off into all of that right now. Look, I know you guys are saying just cooperate, but haven't you been around or seen when people cooperate with the cops and they end up dead? It's like a lose-lose situation. Some of you guys don't agree. I'm sorry. I got to express my feelings. That's my thoughts on the matter. So I don't think I wish it was that easy, but my life has shown me it's not that easy. You just cooperate with the cops and everything works out. My life has shown me it doesn't always work that way. It's just not that easy. I wish it was. So listen to this now. I don't know where this happened, by the way. I'm curious. The man sounds like he has a little bit of a maybe southern accent, but it's real mild. Maybe he's from the Midwest. I'd be interested if someone could place this. Listen to the lady in the passenger side, what she says. This is why I play this video, just to show you the permutation in all segments of society and unsuspecting places of Hebrew Israelism. Because watch, here comes the Lashawan Qadash.
Get out of the car now.
Interesting. You see the subtitle? It says shouting. The person, I imagine being the person doing the subtitle, they probably have no idea what's just being said. They have no idea. They think it's probably some kind of indiscriminate shouting, some foreign language. They have probably no idea. She just screamed out Lashawan Qadash. I want to go back just a little bit. So this lady, and most certainly I bet you this guy, are influenced by Hebrew Israelism, one Westers.
Get out of the car now.
Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. I think is what she said, which is like God in the name of Jesus, something like that. I think that's what they said. She's gonna say it again. So let's check out the Lashawan Qadash again. Yeah, it sounds like she's not that good at it. Sounds like that's probably the only phrase she knows, because an experienced Hebrew Israelite caught in the situation, if they were going to curse the cops in Lashawan Qadash, they would have specific curses they would offer, because this is a standard thing we've seen Hebrew Israelites do. When certain one Westers feel cornered or emotional, they actually do curses in Lashawan Qadash. This lady doesn't seem able to do that, so she's clearly been exposed to one West teaching some way, probably her man. My guess is and I'm not trying to, my guess is this is either one of his girls, because he's probably polygamous if he's a one Wester, or his girlfriend who he says is his wife but really isn't. This is the standard profile we've seen with these guys. And she's been exposed to some Hebraism by it, and she probably knows the basic phraseology, which is how they open up a lot of videos. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is maybe a GMS person who's been influenced by GMS, maybe Sakari, or one of the other similar type of One West camps. Because GOCC wouldn't do this, IUIC wouldn't do this. They don't even know enough Lashawan Qadash in those camps to really even do that, and it's not a standard phraseology. I guarantee you, whoever this is influenced by a GMS-like camp, and that would include Sakari. And, yeah, San Miguel saying, well, it's the she, San Miguel, it's the she who's saying it. The female passenger is the one who's saying the Lashawan Qadash. And that's kind of what I was getting into. What did she think those words are going to accomplish? This clearly isn't a case where they're offering a curse. I don't think she knows enough Lashawan Qadash to do a curse. I think she views it almost as like a magic talisman, where it's like, hey, if I utter this, divine power will be present because I utter these words. So let's hear this again. See, her Lashawan Qadash pronunciation is not very good. That's why I'm having a little trouble making it out. Obviously, she's yelling too. She's frantic, I'm sure, all that. But my guess is she's more exposed to it versus being a hardcore camp lady. But the fact she knows some, so there's something going on there.
Get out of the car, man. Get out of the car. Get out of the car. Get out of the car. Let me get out of the car. Okay, get out.
I think she says it again, but it's hard because they're all talking too.
Get out of the car! You ain't getting out of the car.
Why do cops curse so much? Have you noticed how much these videos expose how cops curse so much? Like, I get, if you think you need to take the guy out like this, okay. But cops are so unprofessional these days. They just, you could say, well, it's a frantic situation. But have you noticed in how many of these videos cops curse, especially when they're shooting at people? Cops just love cursing at people, it seems like. I don't know. It's like, I think we should have a high standard for what we expect. These guys cursing at people. You're not getting out of the car. I don't see how that de-escalates. I don't see how it's professional. My guess is if they can't control their tongue, they also lack self-control in other areas, then that makes for a dangerous cop. Just saying.
Get out of the car now. Get out of the ground.
Okay, so I just want to go back a little bit. It looks like there was 2 utterances of Lashawan Qadash, if I'm not mistaken. So it looks like there is 2. Yes, I do agree, Lady Justice. It is a hard job.
Get out of the car, man. Get out of the car. Get out of the car.
I didn't go back far enough. Hold on. Okay, right about here.
For what? What charges? On what charges? Wow. Get out of the car now.
Yahawashai Bahashem Yahawashai. No, Yahweh Bahashem Yahawashai. She's saying something else in there, but it's unclear. I need to play this video for a more expert, someone who... San Miguel, do you know what she's saying? Is your Lashawan Qadash still good enough that you can tell what she's saying? Because it sounds like she's got some inaudible words. You think she's just saying in the name of Jesus Christ? So San Miguel's an ex-Hebrew Israelite. He thinks she's just saying in the name of Jesus Christ. That might be right, but it sounds like she's saying something else right before. We're going to not play this much longer because I just wanted to show you guys this. Yeah, Castro, Richard James brings up a funny point. It is kind of funny the way, this situation clearly just escalated when the cop breaks the window and, he falls down from the force of momentum once the window gives. It is kind of funny the way guys just like, wow. Because that's like something you might say in a normal conversation, like when somebody says something real jacked up, wow. It is kind of funny in this moment, although this whole thing's not really funny, how the guy just goes, wow. Oh, that's interesting. K-Dub says, I didn't see his fringes. The video is hard to tell. I mean, you're probably being half serious, but it's kind of hard to tell. Actually, K-Dub, that's interesting. I don't know if you guys know, but GMS teaches you don't have to wear your fringes except at camp. So this is further evidence this guy he's definitely influenced by some kind of GMS camp. Well, I say this guy, the lady, it's possible the lady's in it and he's not. But most likely it's a couple because he's also said some things that are kind of related to sovereign citizen light type things, and sovereign citizen things are sometimes things that some of the Hebrew Israelites kind of flirt with as well. Not trying to get all into that, don't claim to be the expert, but my guess is they're both in it in some way. But so San Miguel... No, I'm not disagreeing, Castro. I agreed. It was kind of a humorous moment. It was a humorous moment. I agree with you, Castro, because he's all calm when he says it. So my point, though, is that the lack of fringes could show they're new, like K-Dub said, or more likely, because also the use of the language in an emotional situation shows they're influenced by a GMS-like camp. Almost certainly that's what it is, because they don't believe they have to wear their fringes out in public. Oh, I think she says Messiah as well. She might say Messiah. Usually you don't hear them add the Messiah in there. I'm saying on the Lashawan Qadash. It sounds like she's trying to say, in the name of God and Jesus the Messiah. It seems like that's what she's trying to say. But anyways, here's the point. And the point is, I don't think a lot of Hebrew Israelites have seen this. My guess is after I air this, the Hebrew Israelites who stalk the channel, which, hey, you guys are welcome and encouraged. My guess is this video will start making the rounds once Hebrew Israelites watch this video. And they'll probably have some criticism of my commentary or lack thereof. You just can't win. Once you start talking about cops and interactions with them, which is not really the main point of why I'm showing this video, you just can't win. People are going to get upset. But it's hard for me to watch this without saying anything. But the reason I wanted to show this, the main reason, is to show how Hebrew Israelites pop up in the news all the time now, and we don't even always realize it because it's under everyone's radar. So the conscious awareness people, the people who share this, they didn't seem to know what it was. The Daily Mail, I think, is the original source of this video, if I had to guess. I can't tell. I'm trying to look at the logo there. Is that the Daily Mail logo? Does somebody know? It looks like it's a Daily Mail logo. So that my guess is that's where the original video. It clear they didn't know, because if they transcribed the video, they didn't know where. They didn't know, like, you know. They put inaudible yelling, basically. But I'd be curious to find out when this happened and what came of it. But that's really the main thing I was going to show here. I know this is going to be controversial just because of the nature of it. My friend Richard says they shoot him. I'll play the remainder of the video with the sound off to transition while we talk about our next thing. No, by God's grace, not that I know of, the man did not get shot. It didn't look like he got seriously injured. It looks like they mainly just put him down on the ground. The video ends after that. My guess is the most action-packed part of the video is the window breaking and then this. Because otherwise you would have heard more, I imagine. But you can see it transcribed there. But these cops, they know once it doesn't matter how strong you are or how many systems of fighting you know. Once you've got a certain amount of grown men on you, if they're trained in the least bit, they know how to isolate your body parts, they isolate your limbs, and they suppress them. And you just simply can't move. People aren't the Incredible Hulk out here. And so in real life, there it is. You can't really see if he does have fringes or exactly what's going on there. But he does seem to have a beard. You know what I mean? He does seem to have a beard. You just can't tell. Maybe someone could zoom in and find out what else is going on there. But now we know that. Now I'm going to transition into the next thing. Today's topics are not really the most happy topics, except for the last one. I'm saving Kanye the best for last. Now the next thing we're going to talk about is this. I don't know if you guys heard about this, but I'm going to share my screen and let you see it. All right. This is the Washington Times. Now, if you know the D.C. base, you know that Washington Times is, the so-called conservative one, and the Washington Post is considered the one that's on the left or something like that. And so the Washington Times says, Washington Post slam for obituary calling al-Baghdadi austere religious scholar. I'm going to read this and then show you the headline. The Washington Post sparked ridicule over the weekend for publishing an obituary that called Islamic State leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi an austere religious scholar. Now, they ran an obituary because if you haven't heard the news yet, President Trump had announced that, the United States conducted an operation, yada, 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 and got Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, who is the leader of ISIS or ISIL or the Islamic State, as it's tend to be called these days, which if you don't know much about them, there's videos about them on the channel. Me and Robert Spencer discussed them, actually. President Trump announced Sunday that al-Baghdadi was killed during a U.S. military operation in northwest Syria, bringing the world's #1 terrorist leader to justice. The president said the terrorist leader was cornered by U.S. forces in a dead-end tunnel where he detonated a suicide vest, killing himself and 3 of what were believed to be his children. It's sad. It's just, sin is a horrible thing. Sin just ravages this world, doesn't it? 3 dead kids. They didn't ask to be in this situation. The Post published an obituary for al-Baghdadi that was originally titled Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi Islamic State's terrorist-in-chief dies at 48. The headline was then inexplicably changed to Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, austere religious scholar at helm of Islamic State, dies at 48. The headline sparked significant backlash, including from Mr. Trump's own children, Donald Trump Jr. and Ivanka Trump. Any other people with headlines like this and the fact that the Washington Post and others in the MSM, that means mainstream media, have harsher criticism of the President of the United States than they do for the leader of ISIS, a known serial rapist and murderer, you really have to start to wonder. Now, I'm sure there's more people who know more about al-Baghdadi than I do, but I can tell you some things I know about him. I don't know if he was a serial rapist. I know that a lot of these guys do get into that kind of thing. Saddam Hussein was, although Saddam Hussein was never an austere religious scholar. But I knew, Saddam Hussein was. And so we've got this situation where he's no longer, and you can even see over there in the corner, there's a commentary, the end of al-Baghdadi, but the Islamic State marches on. That's important to recognize. Islamic ideology of the so-called extremist kind is not going to go away. But I'm going to circle back to this after I read this a little bit more. Unreal. Al-Baghdadi described as a austere religious scholar instead of terrorist in WaPo obituary headline. The Post later changed the title to read, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, extremist leader of Islamic State, dies at 48. The paper's vice president of communications later tweeted an explanation, writing, regarding our al-Baghdadi obituary, the headline should have never read that way, and we changed it quickly. The mix-up sparked the snarky hashtag WaPo death notices, where users published glowing obituary headlines for notorious killers. Now, this did spark a macabre but somewhat funny trend. For example, John Wayne Gacy, eccentric child's performer, dies at 52. John Wilkes Booth, noted thespian, dies at age 24. Now, if you don't know who these people are, I'm sorry, I don't have time to explain it, but this is kind of a funny but macabre trend. Adolf Hitler, passionate community planner and dynamic public speaker, dies at 56. And they weren't the only, those Twitter users weren't the only one who slammed them. The Babylon Bee got in it too, and this is pretty funny. Washington Post to run all headlines by in-house ISIS marketing rep. Look at that picture. It's a boardroom situation. Everyone's in like pristine, their little pristine pastels. They're intently listening. And the person at the helm got the AK-47. I mean, that thing is the same thing we use for Muhammad's character. I don't know if you guys noticed the scarf he's got around his neck. But he's like, Washington, D.C. This is satire, by the way, people. If you don't understand, then maybe you're a Snopes fan. Anyways, in order to ensure all headlines about Islamic terrorism are culturally sensitive and do not offend any brave freedom fighters in the Middle East, the Washington Post has retained an ISIS marketing representative. Now, actually, that's funny, but that's actually real. What I mean by that is this. ISIS is super savvy in marketing. Now, to us, they're not trying to appeal to your demographic. Most people probably watching this. But ISIS has a key demographic that it markets to. And if you go online, you can look at ISIS's glossy magazine publication they put out, right? And what they do is it's really high quality, fancy stuff, man. And they give the PDF where you can download it for free. My point by saying that is that they are no joke when it comes to social media. Like they are way better than Al Qaeda ever was. So I'm bringing some reality to the satire. All headlines published about terrorism will be run by the marketing rep. The PR rep was immediately put to work as headline writers, worked to come up with a sensitive take on the death of Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. Do you think we should call him an extremist terrorist leader, or is that considered offensive? One intern asked the representative, Arif al-Samari, in a brainstorming session Sunday. An angered Samari began firing his AK-47 into the air and screams, Allahu Akbar! At this suggestion, I'm sorry, it's messed up and it's funny. Apparently not happy with the angle, so that's how he lets you know. Post writers frantically tried to come up with different headlines to appease him, such as the following. Let me make this bigger. Let me try to make this bigger for everybody, okay? The Babylon Bee be killing it, man. Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, mischievous rapscallion, passes away of entirely natural causes and definitely not a raid ordered by Trump. Also, Trump is bad. Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, noted firearm and explosive enthusiast dies at 48. Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, prophet of God and all-around swell guy, rewarded with 72 versions. Oh, that one's messed up. Evil Americans kill innocent Middle Eastern farmer. Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, austere religious scholar at helm of Islamic State, dies at 48. Now, the crazy thing is, I don't know if you caught it. This is really clever that they did this. Did you guys catch it? This is the actual title. That's the headline. The last one, okay, that the Babylon Bee included, is the real headline they gave. Now, actually, I have mixed feelings about this, and I'll explain it in a second here. He was finally appeased with the last suggestion, and the Post was able to run it. Get it? It's like the reality came out of this situation. Do you guys understand the joke? This is really clever. This should make everybody on the internet happy, said one writer, excited to see what Twitter's reaction would be. And I don't know if you guys know this, but this is a little unrelated, but I could not help it. I thought this was funny, too. If you guys don't think this is funny and, aren't with, you probably just won't like my channel. You probably won't like Street Apologists and my personality. I'm sorry. The internet's not, it's okay. But apparently a dog helped. Apparently there was some kind of dog who kind of sniffed him out in this final tunnel. And they did a Babylon Bee did a story on the dog, and it is so funny. World. CNN uncovers evidence hero dog sniffed dozens of butts back in college. Yo, come on. Exclusive. So-called hero dog sniffed numerous butts during college parties. U.S. Everyone praised the classified hero dog for taking down ISIS leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. Everyone, that is, except CNN, who quickly searched through the dog's internet history and college yearbooks. Sure enough, CNN found a picture of the hero dog partying at obedience school. In the picture, the dog is seen sniffing a butt without consent. I'm sorry, man. Come on, man. Oh, yeah? Good old redacted. He was nuts, said one German shepherd who attended Old Yeller Obedience School. Get it? Instead of Yale, Old Yeller with a hero dog. According to a CNN report, he was always sniffing anybody he could find. Cats, dogs, humans, you name it. He didn't have a preference. He identified it. He identified as pansniffule. Yo, if you don't get this, I'm sorry. This show ain't for you. Huh? Oh, man. Okay, I gotta compose. Troubling reports from classmates indicate that the dog sniffed all these butts without consent. Who wrote this? The dog wrote cryptic things in his college yearbook, apparently referring to the different butt sniffing maneuvers, such as oh man, such as it's hard to read. Okay, it becomes funnier once I went live. Surprise, Snifferooski, and the canine triangle. These are butt sniffing maneuvers that the dog has issued a statement. Yo, the dog has issued a statement. I like butts. I've always liked butts. I still like butts, but I never sniff butts to the point of excess. Who's a good boy? I am. Democrats immediately call for the dog to be court-martialed and for the death of al-Baghdadi to be overturned. Oh, it's insane, man. It's insane. Yo, how you not gonna laugh? It's insane, man. Oh, man, that's insane, man. Okay, I'm back in business. So, going back to the original article is here. But they've changed it, of course. Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, extremist leader of Islamic State, dies at 48. Notice they still kept this line. And here's what's so interesting. Here's what I wanted to tell you guys. See, they still kept the line. He was an austere religious scholar. I'm not saying that's all he was. Certainly he was a terrorist, and no, we should not be afraid to use that word. But he was an austere religious scholar. Do you understand that? Now, I know some of you have a problem with this. I've talked about Elton Simpson before. He went by Ibrahim when I knew him. That's what his name was at the mosque. Okay. You know what? You can even find this, I think, in one of my interviews I did on Elton. I don't remember which one now. Everything's a blur from May 2015. But May 2015 is when the Texas Garland attack went down. When Elton left Phoenix, drove to Texas, tried to kill Robert Spencer, Pamela Geller, and anybody who was drawing pictures of Muhammad at that contest, right? Elton, I knew him, was a super cool, smart guy. I mean, he had everything you could want, right? And I said in one of my interviews, because CNN interviewed me, the AP interviewed me, Associated Press, a couple local affiliates interviewed me. I did more interviews. I think Reuters interviewed me. Now, not all of them got published, or not all the interviews got aired. And some of the journalists, after they did the interview, they never let me know when it was going to air. They didn't really care at that point. My point, though, by saying all that is that I said about Elton, the guy I knew. They said, what? How did he become an extremist? How did he? What? They used a word. It's militantized or extremistized. After there's a word, where radicalized. That's what they asked me. They said, how did he become radicalized? I was like, I don't know that he got radicalized. I was like, what I know is he went from being a serious student of Islam to a more serious student of Islam. And I stand by those words. That's exactly what I saw happen to him. The point is not that every Muslim would agree, obviously, with ISIS or ISIL or Islamic State. Of course not. First of all, notice the name of the organization. It tells you what they're trying to do. Impose Sharia law across the world. They want an Islamic State, right? The point is, though, that some of the most serious Muslims you'll find are involved with this because they believe it's carrying out Muhammad's vision, okay? When Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi took the reins of the Islamic State of Iraq in 2010, few had heard of the organization or its new leader. Then an austere religious scholar. He still is a religious scholar. These guys make real legitimate arguments from the text about, now I don't mean legit for non-believers. What I mean is legit in the sense of Quranic arguments. That's what I mean. They make real legit arguments from the text, okay, for what they do. But just 4 years earlier, Mr. Baghdadi had helped transform his failing movement into one of the most notorious, vicious, and for a time, successful terrorist groups of modern times. Isn't it crazy? They came out of nowhere, took over a bunch of countries, and then kind of fell. It's really... We cannot predict the future, can we? We have no idea what's going to happen next year. We just don't. Look at this. It would, under his guidance, it would burst into the public consciousness as the Islamic State, an organization that would seize control of entire cities in Iraq and Syria, and become a byword for shocking brutality. He died October 26 in northwest Syria. During a raid conducted by Special Operations Forces, President Trump said in a Sunday morning news conference at the White House, Mr. Baghdadi was 48 and had run into a dead-end tunnel before he ignited his vest, killing himself and 3 of his children. Trump said, Baghdadi was vicious and violent, and he died in a vicious and violent way as a coward, running and crying. The man at the helm of the Islamic State was a shadowy presence, appearing in public only a handful of times and rarely allowing his own voice to be heard, even as the caliphate was beaten back and finally destroyed. See, that's interesting. It's true that some of these guys have, like, dreams of stardom, but a lot of them just want to be faithful. You know, this guy doesn't even want the limelight. I don't know. During his tenure, the Islamic State would come to mirror its leader, a messianic figure drawn to the harshest interpretation of Islamic texts. Notice, you know, they got on the Washington Post for their headline article, and I get that. Some of it's just reactionary, you know, because there is a lack of willingness sometimes to call terrorists terrorists. But look at this. Harshest interpretations of Islamic texts. Notice at least they recognize the fact that it's based upon the Islamic text. It's not out of nowhere. This guy didn't have a dream one day and say, ISIS. This is from the text. Notice that. Even in mainstream media, you can catch stuff if you pay attention and see with the conviction that all dissenters should be put to death. And in fact, they killed a lot of Muslims. Yet, despite the group's extremist views and vicious tactics, Mr. Baghdadi maintained a canny pragmatism as leader, melding a fractious mix of radical Islamist militants and former Iraqi Ba'athist and army officers into a powerful military force capable of overrunning cities and defeating Iraqi divisions in battle. It was his combination of extremist ideology and practical military experience that enabled the group to seize and hold territory that formed the basis of a declared Islamic caliphate. He was the guy who would build bridges between the foreign fighters and local Iraqis. Notice, you know, a lot of times these guys get stereotyped. These guys are smart guys. Imagine if this guy would have a different set of worldview values and would have became an ambassador or a political leader of some sort. Imagine what could have been, you know? He's still made in the image of God. Now, most likely, because of who he is and what he did, he is facing judgment and God's wrath, which we all deserve, by the way, not just him. We all deserve. Outside of Christ, we'll get it. But I like to try to give different angles to things, you know what I mean? And to try to hold back the emotion, you know what I'm saying? Said William McCants, a scholar of militant Islam and author of the ISIS Apocalypse, a 2005 history of the Islamic State, which is also called ISIS. His ability to move between those two factions helped his rise to become caliph and then allowed him to stay on top. Mr. Baghdadi also embraced a kind of extreme brutality that would become the group's trademark. It's true, oh my goodness. It's hard to watch even one of those videos they put out. While his predecessors gained notoriety with videotape beheadings and bombings of school playgrounds, Mr. Baghdadi reveled in ghoulish displays of violence, often as the subject of elaborately produced videos. His followers carried out mass crucifixions, turned female captives into sex slaves. Remember, that stuff right here is in the Quran. They are following Muhammad's example. Ladies and gentlemen, he is following Muhammad's example. Those that your right hand possess. Look up the phrase. Those that your right hand possess. Look up that phrase. Put those that your right hand possess and Quran, Islam. See what you'll find. And gleefully executed prisoners by stoning, hacking, or burning them alive. Guess who else liked to burn people alive? Yes, Muhammad. Always with Mr. Baghdadi's implicit blessing. But his image among his followers took a pounding by a U.S.-led military coalition. Really? I mean, how do they know what the image of it? How does the United States newspaper know about his image among his followers? You know what I mean? How do, you know, it's funny, even the liberal paper says funny stuff like this. I mean, maybe not. Took a pounding as a U.S.-led military coalition began driving the Islamic State from its strongholds, beginning in western Iraq in 2015 and continuing in a relentless string of defeats that included the fall of the group's Iraqi and Syrian capitals in 2017 and 2018. In March, the last square mile patch of the once vast caliphate was destroyed by Kurdish fighters backed by U.S. warplanes. Through it all, Mr. Baghdadi remained largely invisible, drawing criticism from within his own organization for being remote and ineffective as a leader. After the caliphate's collapse, man, am I going to... How much of this, guys, do you want me to read? I didn't realize actually it was this long. I'm going to read the part about him being a scholar, and then I'll probably stop there, okay? And then we got to talk about Kanye. He appeared twice in video messages insisting that the Islamic State was rebuilding itself as an underground insurgency and vowing to fight on. Indeed, the group, which Pentagon officials estimate still commands between 14,000 and 18,000 fighters, has stepped up its low-grade guerrilla war against Iraq, Syrian, and Kurdish targets in recent months. Mr. Baghdadi's last video statement in September urged followers to target prisons in parts of Kurdish-held Syria where thousands of milits are being held. The prisons, oh, soldiers of the caliphate, he said. Your brothers and sisters, do your utmost to free them and tear down the walls, restricting them. So he's about prison reform, sorry. Conservative academic. I'm going to read this last section. The man who would become the founding leader of the world's most brutal terrorist group spent his early adult years as an obscure academic. So who doesn't know about Islam? Who doesn't know? Who's making up Islam? Huh? I'm saying that this is a scholar of Islam. This is academic. This isn't some random guy who doesn't know what he's talking about. Aiming for a quiet life as a professor of Islamic law. Did you know that's what he wanted to do? Did you know he was a smart guy? Yeah, real quick, I need to move my I'm gonna I know I'm finishing up, but I'm gonna do this so I can get more in here. But the U.S. invasion of Iraq in 2003. I gotta say, I do think that was a mistake. Upended his plans and launched him on a course toward insurgency, prison, and violent jihad. He was born Ibrahim al-Badri in the central Iraqi city of Samarra in July 28, 1971. Now that's interesting. That means he renamed himself at some point. And guess what? Look up Abu Bakr. Abu Bakr. Do you guys know who Abu Bakr was? It's like Muhammad's right-hand man. So he named himself after that guy. You know, it's not a mistake. He grew up in a devout Sunni Muslim family that included several clerics and claimed to descend from the Prophet Muhammad. That assertion later proved vital to Mr. Baghdadi's efforts to anoint himself as caliph or leader of the Islamic Caliphate. From his teens, he was fascinated with Islamic history and the intricacies of Islamic law that's called Sharia. Acquaintances remember him as a shy, nearsighted youth who liked soccer but preferred to spend his free time at the local mosque. He always had religious or other books attached on the back of his bike. Tariq Hamid, an acquaintance from the same lower middle-class neighborhood, told a Newsweek interview in 2014, the young Ibrahim disdained the Western clothes popular with Samarra's young men, preferring the traditional prayer cap, beard, and white dashcam robe of the religiously devout neighbors say. That's, by the way, that what he's talking about there, that's why bin Laden dressed the way he did. I don't know if you guys knew that, but this is why bin Laden was trying to dress like Muhammad. He graduated from the University of Baghdad in 1996 and received a master's degree in Quranic recitation from the Saddam University for Islamic Studies in 1999, immersing himself in the arcane world of 7th century religious codes. Now, why would a person need to do that? Why would a serious Muslim need to immerse himself in 7th century religious code? Muhammad, 610, 632. Oh, 7th century. That's when Muhammad was making all the rules and all the laws. And guess what? Islam doesn't have a new covenant. It never can. There's no prophets after Muhammad. He's the final prophet. So guess what you have to study? Guess what you have to become an expert in to understand how to live out Islam? 7th century religious codes, arcane as they may be. And then you have to have what are called fatwas to understand how to live them out in the modern day. That's exactly what you do. And that's why you behead people and burn them and all kinds of other stuff. You just take a step back to a time of barbarism. Not that the world's not, but I'm just saying where it's stuck there. It's stuck there. Islam is stuck there. And so is he. But guess what? 2019 moves on, but Islam stays there and pushes that Sharia law wherever it can. At least the serious conservative guys do. Acquaintance remember how the college-age Mr. Baghdadi took offense at the sight of men and women dancing in the same room during wedding celebrations. By 2003, at age 31, he was well on his way to a doctorate and shot at a full professorship. But after U.S. troops invaded Iraq that year, he signed up with a local resistance movement, explaining afterward that he did so as a religious duty. This is the exact same thing Ibrahim said when he went to go kill Robert Spencer and Pamela Geller. It would take 4 more years until 2007 before he returned to school to defend his dissertation. So this guy goes and fights as a jihadi and then comes back to defend his dissertation. He was arrested in the Iraqi city of Fallujah in 2004 and, in a fateful turn, landed at the notorious and now-defunct Camp Bucca prison. The vast U.S.-run detention facility warehoused by nearly 26,000 Iraqi men at a time in communal tents, and U.S. military officials later acknowledged it served at times as a recruitment and training center for militants. Okay, well, there's more here to read, but I think I got to the main part to show you that he was really an austere religious scholar. He was that. Now, I'm not saying, obviously, that they should have had that as a headline. You know, it is what it is with that. You know what I'm saying? But it's interesting that that's originally what it was. And guess what? He really was an austere religious scholar. Okay, now with that being said, let's transition to the last thing, which is Kanye's new album. I'm going to show you and Kanye West. We're going to talk a little bit. I know we're changing things. This is like some headline type stuff. You know what I mean? The stuff we're going over. Hopefully you guys appreciate that. Don't have a ton of time, but the time we do have, we'll look at this together here now, okay? Let's see where I want to do this. Let's start with this. Because most of you know now about Kanye's new album. Let me read this article, and then actually I'm going to play a video. I have a video by Urban Apologist that I think is a good discussion on this. So some of you guys want to know my thoughts. I have my thoughts. I'll share some, but really, sometimes I just like the facts too. So I like this little article where I think it's cool they take out some of the best lines from Jesus is King from Kanye's new album. So let me show you some of them, okay? I'm going to highlight this right here. All my idols, let them go. All the deedums, let them know. This is a mission, not a show. This is my eternal soul. And all my brothers locked up on the yard. You can still be anything you want to be. Went from 104 to 1 and 3. He's talking about there. I don't think this guy is interpreting this right. You can read what he says here, but I watched a Kanye interview with Big Boy. What Kanye is saying is the incarceration rates of black men. So he got the first part right, but what Kanye was saying is there went from 25%, which is 1 in 4, to a high percentage, 1 in 3. You guys see what I'm saying? I think that's what he was saying. It went from 1 in 4 to 1 in 3. I don't think he was saying the thing about the triune God. You know what I'm saying? He's talking about incarceration rates. Because, you know, he cares about his community, and so should we, because we love people and we love Jesus. Look at this line. Every knee shall bow, every tongue confess, Jesus Christ is Lord. Oh, whoever wrote this doesn't know what they're talking about. Okay, well, I'm glad this article I'm glad James Silberman wrote this. I'm glad that he did this. I like the idea of this, but he's messing up again. It's so funny. The media is funny. Let me show you what I mean. He says Isaiah 45:23 is not a verse for the lukewarm. Okay, now this is interesting. Isaiah 45:23 is alluded to in Philippians 2, what's called their Carmen Christi, where Paul gives clear attestation to the deity of Christ in what is most likely a pericope, meaning a section from an early Christian hymn. Almost all scholars recognize that reality. And that means that Paul is incorporating traditions prior to his conversion, but also that the earliest Christian religious devotional worship included direct praise to Christ, as Pliny the Younger mentioned in his letter to the emperor, where he says they sing songs to Christ as to a god. Carmen Christi, Philippians 2, that's where it says, every tongue confess, every knee shall bow that Jesus Christ is Lord. It is alluding to Isaiah 45:23, and that's an important passage because Philippians 2 is essentially inserting Jesus where Yahweh was. If you look up Isaiah 45:23, which the person is mentioning, but that's the wrong place. Jesus Christ is Lord. That's not in Isaiah. So to the person who wrote this, Jesus' name is not mentioned explicitly in the Old Testament. So it's not Isaiah 45, it's Philippians 2. But nonetheless, it's a powerful passage to show Jehovah's Witnesses because it's Yahweh speaking in Isaiah 45. And yet Paul and the early Christians took Yahweh and instead it's Jesus Christ, showing that Christ is Yahweh. Not that he's the Father, but that he's Yahweh embodied. Beautiful stuff. 7. I bow down to the King upon the throne. My life is his. I'm no longer my own. You going to do what Adam do? Say, baby, let's put this back in the tree because we have everything we need. That's a dope song where he says Christ is all we need. It's really beautiful how he breaks it down. Isn't that right? That is right. To sing of change, you think I'm joking. To praise his name, you ask what I'm smoking. Yes, I understand your reluctancy, but I request, you see, don't throw me up. Lay your hands upon me. Please pray for me. That's beautiful, man. I mean, these are the words of a new Christian, don't you think? It sounds like it. I can't keep it to myself. I can't sit here and be still. Everybody, I will tell the whole world. I will tell till the whole world is healed. All the captives are forgiven. Time to break down all the prisons. That sounds like Luke 4, which is quoting Isaiah 61. Every man, every woman, there's freedom from addiction. Ooh, that's right. Cut out all the lights. He the light. This is dope. This is dope. I just like that. Everybody wanted Yandi. That Jesus Christ did the laundry. That's one of my favorite lines in the album right there. I like how, now, props to the writer. He did a good job here. Check this out. He did a good job here. Check this out what he did here. So I give you props where you deserve props, even though you made some missteps in this article, my brother. Well, I don't know. The light doesn't bring mere worldly accolades, but eternal redemption to the Creator through washing away the sin that separates from Him. So this is guy's commentary. On the subject of washing away, and it's dope, he goes right into that line, which is a dope line. Everybody wanted Yandi. That Jesus Christ did the laundry. That's dope. Now, I didn't know about this, so I'm glad he filled in. I understood it was a reference to something with Kanye, but I didn't really know. Yandi was scheduled for release in September 2018 before being scrapped. Oh, okay, that's dope. Y'all, that's cool, man. He mentions Shai Lin. That's pretty cool. Oh, it does look like he's, whoever wrote this is, at least he's a pro-life activist. Looks like, so that's good. Probably is a believer, just a couple missteps in there. Okay, you know what? Maybe that's the last thing let's look at. Well, we don't probably have time to really do it, but let me just real quick. Let me just show you this. If you want to know more about this and really see some good stuff, check out Shai Lin's Twitter thread on this. You know, Shai, man, he writes blogs almost when he really goes for it, and it's really, really beautiful. I love everything he said. Look at this. One of my favorite parts about this Kanye thing, people who hate both Kanye and the God he's praising and choose to mock, ridicule the album, they still have to say Jesus is king while doing so. That's dope. Now, here's why I'm showing you this. I'm not going to read all this, but follow Shai Lin on Twitter, everybody. He's a Christian hip-hop artist he's like a pastor, a theologian, just all around a nice guy, dope MC, just everything you could want. And he does this thread where he comments on it. And really, that's all you need to read is right there. But you know what? I know we're not just on Twitter. By the way, get this. He wrote a book for kids, and it came up with an album. Get that too. Oh, look, we can see who of my followers follows. K-Dub already follows, Nate already follows, and Rox B already follows. Okay, shout out to you guys. My man Chris Jones, follow him too. He's a super dope hip hop artist as well. Okay, I'm getting a little carried away here, but since this is the internet, I don't just only want to be showing you guys Twitter. I want to play you guys a video. And so here I am switching over back to my screen. Some of you guys know Miss Titus 2. Some of you don't. But if you don't, I'm going to introduce you. She's just getting started in her Instagram and YouTube channel as far as putting out urban apologetics content. And I thought she did a really cool take on the whole thing. And I was like, you know what? I'll just play that. So I told her I was going to do this. But this is funny. This is good. Now, I might stop it. Some of you guys are like, just let it play. Comment. So you guys, no, add your commentary. Just subscribe to her. I think she had let's see. On YouTube, she's got 15 subscribers right now. Here's her channel link. Subscribe to her YouTube, and then also on Instagram. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to play her video, her commentary, because like I said, she did a fantastic job. It was funny. It was clever. It had everything you needed to have in it. And so I'm going to play that and then do some commentary on the Kanye situation. And let's get into that right now, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. I know you can't hear it. I'm going to turn it up.
West released his new album, Jesus is King. So I listened to it a few times, and I just wanted to give y'all my opinion on it. Disclaimer, this is my opinion solely, okay? I'm not speaking for all Christians. I'm not speaking for all black folk. I'm just speaking for me, Keisha. Church world seems to be a little split on it. Some people are like, oh yeah, I'm feeling it. Other folks is like, so let's back up a little bit. So Kanye has been doing his...
By the way,
Sunday...
reason why is first of all, Christians can be judgmental. We know that. But you know what else? We've been burnt before by celebrities saying they became Christians and stuff. In my personal life, especially KRS-One, man, he put out an album called Spiritually Minded and kind of made it sound like he was coming out as a Christian. So I was like, yo, KRS-One, one of the dopest old school MCs ever. Spiritually minded, and later on it was pretty much shown it was just a business move and it didn't work. It was a business misstep. It didn't work well for him. And I was sad, you know? I was like, oh, okay, he wasn't really about that. Okay. And then Snoop Dogg puts out a gospel album, but it's just gospel style. He's not making any change or nothing like that. So, it's happened before we kind of, but let's see what she says here.
Service for, I don't know, maybe a year now. And I have to admit, when I first heard about it, I was like, this is some cult stuff. Sorry, Kanye.
That's funny because even Kanye in his interview with Bad Boy said, I guess it was kind of cultish for us to be wearing all white all the time. GOCC. What's funny is, though, now he doesn't. He said A$AP Rocky came through and he said, I'm going to dress normal again.
But now he's saying stuff like,
God has called me and I now have given my life to Jesus Christ and I work for God.
That's crazy. That's on Jimmy Kimmel. All right, that's cool.
So I'm like, come again?
I've given my life to Jesus Christ and I work for God.
Don't tell me this man actually got saved. Whether he is or isn't, that's not for me to decide.
This is a free country. You should respect his wishes and call the man
a Christian.
And living coming to America. See that clip? It's legit, right? Yeah, Dinu brings up a good point. Or Mace, remember that fiasco? So, but continuing on.
I feel like the church world is super skeptical about this one because there's been so many celebrities in the past who claimed Christ, and then after that it was like, Jesus who? Kind of the whole fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. Church folk tired of getting got. And I can't blame people for feeling that way, but that doesn't mean that Kanye's conversion isn't real. I will say this, after watching Kanye's interview with Big Boy, after watching the interview with his pastor, and after listening to his album, I think he might be for real. I'm just saying. When he talked about being canceled, I felt that. He was all,
I've been canceled. I've been canceled before they had cancel culture. I was canceled before they had the term.
Do you care about any of that?
I do. I care about everything.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody who's been a Christian for more than 5 minutes probably know how it feels to be canceled. It's like as soon as you come out and say, I'm a Christian, you are now stupid, black card revoked, ignorant, closed-minded. List goes on. Did I say coon? Yeah, that one too. I literally saw a post today where somebody called him Kanye. Well, Kanye, I hate to break it to you, but you might as well get used to it because that kind of comes along with the territory of being in the whole Christian group. But thus far, you seem to be taking it in stride. So for that, I applaud you. Moving right along. This is a side note, but he said something in that interview and I was like, I've been saying that the whole time.
Rapping about things that could get you locked up and then saying you about prison reform. Like, it's, bro.
There he's pointing out the hypocrisy of you know, a lot of modern rappers, right? Where, you know, it's hot to rap about stuff that's illegal and this and that. And then you also say you're about prison reform. He's just pointing out the hypocrisy there. What's up? Shout out to you, Abu. Yeah, the LQ section, that was a little bit earlier, man. Sorry about that, man. But you have to go back and watch it. But I'm glad you came over from the other side to join us, my man.
We brainwashed out here, bro.
The hypocrisy. But that's a conversation for another day, because I already know. Anywho, my favorite part of the interview was probably when he said,
The funny thing is people are like, man, this is going to be harmful for your career. This gonna be... I said,
Did you worry about that?
Man, I fear and love God. When you remove the fear and love of God, you create the fear and love of everything else. You talking to somebody right now that only fears God, and Jesus has won the victory, bro.
this is going to be
That's kind of dope, ain't it? You guys hear that? You're saying, look, when you fear God, you don't fear man. Now, I know that's not always easy, but isn't that true? I mean, this guy's just speaking truth. He's not just speaking Christian platitudes or stuff he would find on a Hallmark card or stuff that would go over with Oprah. He's like saying stuff that's really true for the Christian life. It's like, how you know that? That's where a lot of us are like, how you know that unless you're really a Christian, man? You know what I mean?
harmful to my career, but Jesus has won the victory. I was like, drop the mic and just walk away. Interview was over. But it wasn't over. I encourage y'all to go back and watch it if you haven't. It was funny to me, though, because I felt like Kanye was talking like somebody who's actually, like, been born again. Somebody who has actually gone through the salvation experience. And Big Boy is looking at him like, what is this man talking about? I don't get it. We know you don't get it, Big Boy. I don't think people understand just how difficult it can be for Christians to share their faith with non-believers, especially when said non-believers believe that they are believers. It's like anybody who says that they believe in Jesus Christ assumes that they are Christians, and that's just not true. There's a thing called true and false conversion, which I would love to do a video on in the future, but that's a topic again for another day. But in the case of Kanye West, I would have to say, I think we might be dealing with a true convert. I mean, when Jimmy Kimmel come out and ask you, are you a born-again Christian rapper? And you say,
I'm just a Christian everything. Everything.
Oh, that's one of my favorite things. He says, so are you a Christian rapper? Nobody knew what he was going to say there. I just love it. How pure is that? Listen to what he says.
you might be dealing with a true convert. I mean, when Jimmy Kimmel come out and ask you, are you a born-again Christian rapper? And you say,
I'm just a Christian everything. Everything.
I mean, what can I do with that? Don't worry, I'll wait. I can't do nothing with that, man. All I'm saying is listen to the man's album. I liked it. Okay, I liked it. I feel like people are like, man, church people so lame. They glad that Kanye West is a Christian. Who cares? He's a coon, right? Well, we care because do you know how big of a deal that is? Not from a popularity standpoint. Like, Kanye West ain't going to make Christianity popular.
See, that was important. And that's right. I think, now, can the Lord use Kanye? Yeah, because he uses his servants, right? Is Kanye West going to make Christianity popular? No. I mean, look, the Lord can do what he wants when he wants. But I hope most people aren't excited about this because they think that. I hope they realize, hey, we have a new brother, you know? And he be making some music now that makes me excited about being a Christian. All right. But I mean, I think it's good for us to be realistic too. You know, we always think, oh, we just need a celebrity. No, we don't need we just need more disciples of Jesus. That's what we're excited about, I hope. He shouldn't be, become a preacher tomorrow or anything like that. Nobody's saying any of that. No, I'm not saying any of that. But we got a brother in the Lord by God's grace. He talks like a brother, The
message of the gospel is not popular. That's why the church continued to get persecuted for it in early church history up until now. We are excited because that means that this man is not going to spend eternity in hell. The Bible says angels rejoice over one person when they come to Christ. So we should be rejoicing too. Somebody was lost and now they're found. The prodigal son, hello. But I digress. As far as the album goes, people are giving it a lot of mixed feedback. People like me love it. We like, hey, closed on Sunday. You my Chick-fil-A. Thank you, Kanye. And then there were others who felt like,
we got Kanye singing with some pretty bad vocals about how everyone has to bow down to Jesus. And
So it's interesting to see some of the reaction. So here's this guy doing a review. He's complaining. Oh, everyone's bow down to Jesus. Yeah, you know what? At least he's hearing the message, and he doesn't like it. Kanye's album is called Jesus is King, and then he goes about on the album proclaiming the lordship of Christ, and the world doesn't like that because it wants its own autonomy, which that's us. You know, we're prideful, we're sinners. Jesus is Lord, though.
all this stuff, like it just gets kind of redundant and tiring throughout this whole album. That song in particular, I didn't think that was very good. It's just a short little outro. But the thing with gospel music is it's most known for its uproarious, lavish, beautiful, uplifting production. Same thing with the vocals. They're supposed to lift you up and make you feel really good, even if you're not a fan of that music, really. But I didn't really get that here.
So he didn't like the vocals. But did he really just say he didn't like the album because it didn't make him feel good? Bruh, gospel music is not about you. Gospel music is not about us. Gospel music is about glorifying God. It's about the
Amen.
gospel. So let me get this straight. Kanye's supposed to make a gospel album and leave out the gospel and leave out Jesus. Gotcha. Well, if that's the kind of gospel album you want, go listen to Snoop Dogg. Whoops. Matter of fact, go listen to every gospel song on the radio right now. Yeah, I said it. We're living in a time where Christian artists, gospel artists, whatever you want to call them, feel like they have to remove themselves from a Christian label. Oh, well, I'm not a Christian artist. I'm just an artist who's a Christian. Man, come on, man. Look, I'm trying not to judge. I'm just saying. Kanye was like, I'm a Christian everything. I'm a Christian everything? I'm a Christian everything. And that's why memes like this one.
I don't know if you guys saw that, but we're getting in some hot water now.
I'm a Christian everything. And that's why memes like this one are hilarious because it's sad but true. No shade to Lecrae. I love Lecrae. I'm just saying. Let me go ahead and change the subject. I'll be honest and say this is not the best album I've heard. Christian, gospel, hip-hop, rap, secular, whatever. It ain't the best. But for me, it's not always about the music. It's more so about the message in the music. I stopped listening to secular music a few years back because I didn't feel like it was edifying to God, and I didn't feel like it was edifying to me spiritually. Now, if y'all want to listen to secular music, I can't judge anybody. You live by your own convictions. But when an artist can literally spend the entire album saying Jesus, 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 like, again, what can I do with that? Not a doggone thing. Except put that thing on repeat. Yo, that track, God Is, don't even get me started. God is. He literally said, this ain't just about a religion. Like, this is my soul. This is eternity. This is my family. Like, Kanye, I know exactly how you feel. It's my soul too. God is. I think I said all I had to say on this one. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me, and that's fine. I mean, this is America, right? But I would encourage you, if you haven't heard it, go check it out and pray for the man. You know, if he's really a Christian, which I hope he is, it sounds like he is, then he's going to need a lot of help and support. All right, be blessed. Love y'all. And feel free to share this video and comment below. And subscribe to my YouTube channel, Miss Titus 2. I spelled it up top for y'all. Okay, I'm done. Holla.
Well, I shared the video, didn't I? I just shared the video. Yeah, I did. So I put the link, by the way, in the live chat for you guys watching it live, and you can go back and watch it live later too. I put the link of her YouTube channel, which had 15 subs when we started. So last time I helped someone out, they got like 20 or 30 new subs. So hopefully we could do the same for her. And also follow her on Instagram because she puts videos on the IGTV as well. So you definitely want to do that. Now, looks like went up a few subs. Let's do some more. Okay, so now here we go. I just now see Liza is killing it with the super chat. Whoa, 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 whoa. Liza, whoa. Thank you. Thank you very much. For real. Let's try to knock out some freestyles in a second here. Before we do that, for our over 100 viewers, which means technically I have 3. Oh, my goodness. I want to say a few things now. I don't, know all the latest and greatest with the kind of paparazzi world and all that stuff. It's just not my bag, right? But I do know, because I have some Armenian friends. Not Arminian, that's a theological position, although I have those kind of friends too. I'm a friendly Calvinist, a Calvinist with a smile. If you don't like Calvinists at all, sorry, I still smile at you. It is what it is. But my Armenian friends, which is an ethnicity, not a religion, they tend to be some version of Orthodox, which is, the churches of the East, which is they would generally identify as part of their culture Christian. Now, does everyone have a born-again experience or anything like that? My point is, Kim Kardashian is Armenian, okay? So in her background is a strong, sturdy culture of some understanding of Christianity, of some understanding. Look, we just want people saved, and it'd be good if something happened there. And just keep that all in prayer, all right? For real. Now, there's more to say. There's actually an article I really wanted to read, but I don't think. You know what? I'm gonna save this article. If I ever touch on this again, I'll probably read this article. I would never usually recommend something from probably Slate, I guess, but I found an article retweeted by a guy I follow on Twitter named Sam Kestenbaum. He's a Jewish religion reporter who does a really good job covering a lot of obscure spiritualities. But this Slate article, even though it has a little bit of a condescending manner and doesn't have its facts 100% right, et cetera, and is concerned a lot of times with injecting kind of leftist political views where they kind of detract from the story. This is my quick review of it. This article was still interesting, though. Evangelical extreme side about kindness, Jesus is King. Now, I think, she focused a little bit too much on... I'm not going to criticize it anymore, but here's one thing. Have you guys seen the interview with this man, the pastor here, on Apologia? I would recommend watching that. That was something else. It really was. And this is a very, very interesting article, despite the caveats I gave it. And a really strangely written sentence right here. Look awfully like church services. Sorry, I'm a little critical of this article. But this is crazy. Look at this. I'm just going to read this one little part, okay? And then I'm just going to encourage you to read the rest of this. This part right here, okay? I'll read this right here. West's conversion didn't happen overnight. About a year ago, he started hosting traveling invitation-only Sunday services that looked awfully like church services. West has plenty of ties to the circle of young, stylish pastors in Justin Bieber's social circle. That's kind of funny, right? One of them performed his lavish wedding in 2014. But he has chosen a theologically rigorous Calvinist pastor as his latest spiritual mentor. The Reverend Adam Tyson is pastor of a small church outside Los Angeles and has close ties to the Master's Seminary, known for its conservative theology. To those who don't know, that's a school began by John MacArthur of Grace in Cali. Its students and teaching faculty are all male. One of the Duggar sisters' husbands is currently a current student. Over the last several months, Tyson has been on the road with West and has conducted Bible studies with West and his team in Wyoming. He told Christianity Today earlier this month that West is a new brother in the faith. Now, look, this is like they have to add this stuff in here. I think it detracts. Church Clarity, a crowdsourced database of churches' positions on gender and sexuality issues, reports that Tyson's church is non-affirming on LGBTQ issues and non-egalitarian on the question of women's leadership. Like, really? You know? Like, what's at the, you know? But this is nonetheless an interesting thing, especially this last sentence that Kestenbaum had tweeted out, which drew my initial interest in this article. But he has provided plenty of signals that he is not just dabbling. Actually, let me read this last line. I'm just going to read this last part. And anti-abortion groups, including the Susan B. Anthony list, it's a pro-life group. It's not an anti. You know what? Whatever. We're anti-abortion because abortion sucks. So maybe that's fine. But it's just funny. You're pro-choice or anti-abortion, you know? And Live Action picked up on a radio interview this week in which West lambasted Democrats for taking advantage of black voters, even though the party was making us abort our children. A popular argument in pro-life circles. What do you mean? Some things are just true. West is hardly the first artist to flirt with religion as an artistic phase, but he has provided plenty of signals that he is not just dabbling in God language as a motif, but plunging into the distinct values and practices of 21st century American evangelicalism. I thought that was interesting. I thought that was interesting the way it was. So this is just some analysis. No one's talking about we need Kanye to save the church or anything like that. Some analysis and discussion. You know, that's kind of what we do. I'm not going to... some of these comments, guys. Oh, that's cool. In the Czech Republic... Hold on. Let me switch over here. In the Czech Republic, we are excited by newborn Kanye. That's cool. Right on. Praise God. Wow. I'm not going to read all these comments. There's a lot going on here right now. Wow. Very interesting comments. But this, I thought was a fascinating show. Wasn't it? Do you guys like these shows where I cover different news topics? I mean, I usually don't like to do that kind of thing, but I just had these things. I could not help it with this one. Now listen, I'm going to be busy. I'm still working on my presentation for some things I'm doing here. And if you're in Philly, I need you to get a hold of me because I'm going to be doing some stuff in Philly coming up here. And I don't know when I can go live again because I'll be traveling a little bit this week, but I'll do my darndest. And thank you for watching today's edition of Street Apologist Live, where we make apologetics fun again. And we do have some videos we're working on a new video with IUIC as well as some other ones. But you know what, guys, listen, we got great people running our social media. Some new people just joined to do a great job. Make sure you follow all the Street Apologist social media channels, because even if I don't post on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, they do post, and between both of them and the YouTube channel, there's a lot of great content. And sometimes we share personal stuff. Sometimes, you know, it's just apologetic stuff, obviously, but it's good. So check it out, and you'll kind of be really up on things, and I think you'll appreciate it. But even when you don't see new content like every single day on my YouTube channel, which is pretty hard to do, you know. Check for other things. Like this morning, a new interview with Dr. Michael Heiser and I dropped on the Fringe Pop 321 YouTube site. You definitely want to check that out. That's the 5th part. There's another one dropping 2 more weeks from now. So there's that, you know what I'm saying? And then also I've got there's something else I was trying to tell you guys. Darn it. Oh yeah, so much content on the channel that we post links from former shows too, and sometimes you guys don't even know about them. I'm going to make sure that ISIS one is up because of this show today. But with that all being said, it's time to jump into our freestyle. You know, we got my man Soko drops these super dope freestyle beats for us, and then we kick it. So it's time to drop the 2 freestyles. Everyone break down the rules. Let them know how they work. Let's go. Just a second, yeah. Just a second. Let me know about the volume. Let me know. All right, let me know. Yeah, freestyle. We did the laundry. Today we talked about Mr. Kanye West. Yes, you know he's fresh. I'm rocking his jacket. Yes, it's blessed. I'm blessed like Jesus. Peep it out now. The Holy Spirit frees us. He sees us with his vision. said he's everything Christian. Christian everything. On Kim he sing. He sing his song. It was dope all day long. Switched the words to his old track. Oh, it's on. Jesus walks. I like the way the new Kanye talks. When he talks, he says J-I-K. Dude is dope. Let's pray today for my man. He be putting it down. Hey, yo, check it out. In the Chi-Town, coming to a town near you. Sunday service, do they hear you? Jesus is King, Christ the clear view. Keep it out now, what you gonna do? Kanye changed it and make your eyes spin. Props to the pastor named Mr. Tyson. That's the reverend from Master Seminary. My name vocabulary. Yes, God prepared me to rap. Keep it out now, taking a nap. I just can't sleep, I'm past all that. Rockin' kinda deep, I got my black cat in my Buffalo Bills, plus skills. I rhyme so much that I run to the hills like they dropped the bomb. Once again it's on. Keep it out now, read the Washington Post byline. What did it say? On the very day that he died, hey, said he was an austere scholar. People got mad, they began to holler. He didn't live for no dollars, live for Muhammad, that's true. I'm a speak it, freak it, flip the beat. Now I gotta peep it, see it, rap about Jesus. Kanye West like a lyrical genius. For that one line about Mike Jackson, light skin, dark sin. Now he's back again, dropping a new album in December called Jesus is Born. Yo, in the winter, got my winter jacket. I hack it, I rap it, Vocab Malone, and then I unpack it. The news for real, I did that today. Buffalo Bill, I rep that way. My Italian family out in Buffalo. Rock the mic, I'm like Mark Ruffalo, turning into the Incredible Hulk. If you didn't like the show, then that's your fault. Ha! Alright, let's do one more freestyle, y'all. We'll drop one more. That's how I close it. Pretty dope, right? Alright, let me do this. Here we go. Oh, the beat by Soko. Pretty dope beat right here. Oh! Yeah, yeah. Ha! Yeah, gotta turn this one up a little bit. Yo, ha. Alright. Jesus is King. I'm his bride like a wedding ring that I wear. Celebrate Reformation. Check it out now, pray for his salvation. Plus Kim, that's her name. What she be doing now is kinda lame. Gotta change the game with the brand new rules. Peep it out now, back in school. That hero dog sniffed a lot of butt. I read an article, and so what? It's satire, lyrics fire. Peep it out now, preach like Jeremiah. I'm a spit like a llama. Peep it out now, don't need a drama. Where my mama? Where my father? Here I come, blow up, Unabomber. I'm a, yeah, bring the hydro. Vocab Malone, like nitro. Bliss, yes, you shoot, you miss. Check it out now, whack MCs get pissed. Get dissed like a tissue when I diss you. What's the issue? I dismiss you. Satan, please, don't be his tool. Peep it out now, I'll be a fool for Christ when I rock the mic. Vocab Malone for the black and the white, you know the type. Rocket microphone from Phoenix, Arizona, but representing Buffalo, that's the family home. Here we go again when I say shalom. That means peace, slide like grease, like some grease. And then I say the least is for the least, and plus the lesser. Abu Bakr wanted to be a professor, yeah. Then he left the dresser, grabbed a suicide vest, then blessed the Quran, said Allahu Akbar. Now the dude is dead. It was kinda hard. They found him in a cave. The dog was brave. Yo, he's a Muslim, so he probably not saved. He misbehaved when he began ISIS. Peep it out now, I didn't write this. It's a freestyle about the righteous. Fall off the beat, now I might just get back on the beat. I'm back on my feet. I bumped the Kanye joint, chillin' in the street. Yo, peep it out now to everyone you meet. Say Christ is King, and then you could greet them with a handshake. The God, he saves me from the lake of fire. That's my desire for Kanye to take it much higher. Peep it out now, Christ is Messiah. Ha! Shout out to Elijah J for the super chat. Subscribe to Titus 2. Titus 2's channel. Peace out, y'all.